waving goodbye to our worry. So we run wild and free. We're not ever slowing down.
Welcome everybody to the Tourism Island Must-See Island webinar. Hope you're all happy out there today. I know it's a very beautiful day to be in Ireland, and we have a great show for you today. First off though, I would like you all to get down to your chat box and write "Hello Ireland" and type it all in there and start spreading the word, okay? So everybody, we're going to have a great show today. Let me share with you the rundown that we've got. So our presenters today, we'll start with Emily Wheeler from Tourism Ireland. Hello, Emily.
Hi, Tim.
Great stuff. She's going to be the the host today, who's going to basically introduce all of the partners, and of course she's going to give us a great presentation about the marvelous island of Ireland. And we've also got wonderful guests today who are going to give us a few words. We've got the ambassadors of Ireland who are based in Singapore. That's Sarah McGrath. We've got Emma Hickey in the Philippines. We've got Pradeg Francis, who's in Indonesia. Deirdre Nifalun, who's in Vietnam, and Pat Bun, who's in Thailand. And I have to apologize if I've pronounced any of your names incorrectly with my bad pronunciation. We then have presenters. We've got the Cliffs of Moher experience, Melanie Lennon, showing this very dramatic and stunning, spectacular scenery at the Cliffs of Moher. We've then got Stephen Tuite, who's looking at the original Irish hotels, which are marvellous properties all across Ireland with great accommodation and really traditional folk experiences. We've also got Kildare Village, so you can get all of your shopping done. And then we belong to Northern Ireland. We've got the Titanic Belfast with Fiona Herald. And finally, last but not least, we have the magnificent Game of Thrones studio tour with David Brady. Just to share with everybody that you can give us any Q&A by putting questions in the Q&A box in here in this Zoom webinar. And later on, I'll also have a quick poll to get some of your feedback as well. But now I would like to just now introduce again Emily Wheeler from Tourism Ireland, who's going to start presenting for us.
Thank you, Tim. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to join our webinar today. In a moment, as Tim said, I'm going to be giving you a short highlights presentation, and then I'm going to be passing over to our wonderful Island of Ireland partners who are joining us today. So before that, I'd love to give a really warm welcome to our ambassadors. So as Tim said, they're joining us today from the Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. So we're delighted to welcome you, and I know that each of you would like to give a very brief welcome message. So first up, over to you, Sarah McGrath, the ambassador of Singapore.
Good afternoon to all of you who are in Southeast Asia, and good morning to those of you in Ireland. My name's Sarah McGrath. I'm the Ambassador of Ireland here in Singapore, and I'm really pleased that this webinar is taking place today because I think, like all of my colleagues, we're very fundamentally convinced of how much people, once they've been to Ireland, really love it and are interested in it. And I would say for the partners who are joining the call, who are agents here in Singapore, I would highlight two things: the physical beauty of Ireland, which because of its distance from Southeast Asia, just looks so dramatically different from the things that people experience here. And I think gives people really special memories. And I'm going to give a shout out in that regard. I'm from Clare in the west of Ireland, so I know you'll be seeing the Cliffs of Moher, which is my own personal favourite. And the other thing that I think really makes a holiday in Ireland is that engagement with people. And I know here in Singapore, people are curious and interested in other people and how they live and how they engage with the world. And I think there's so much to find out and explore in Ireland, whether you're in the countryside, the mountains, the lakesides, or the cities. So wishing you all the best of luck with the webinar, and looking forward to lots more Singaporeans going to Ireland as a result. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you, Sarah. I'd next like to hand over to the ambassador of the island to the Philippines, Emma Hickey.
Thanks, Emily. Good afternoon to you all. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat, particularly to the Filipino agents here this afternoon. I'm quite a recent arrival to the Philippines, and I think what has struck me is there are so many similarities between Irish and Filipino people. We both value very much family and friends, and we have a real shared love of food, of culture, of music. And I think these are all things that in Ireland, you really have to go and see to believe. We're also a fellow island nation like the Philippines. And personally, I'm really proud of our such beautiful landscapes that I don't think can be found anywhere else in the world. So of course, I'm biased in that. But yes, it's really a patchwork of green when you come to Ireland. We're also extremely proud of our ancient churches and our castles. And I think what really makes it stand out as well is the unrivaled hospitality that you will find everywhere in our hotels, in our bars, and I know you'll hear about that later today. So I hope that this afternoon is valuable, that you get fresh ideas for itineraries for Ireland. And just to conclude by saying that we really look forward to having more Filipino visitors to our shores in the next couple of months. Thank you, Salamat po.
Great, thank you very much, Emma. So next up, we have the Ambassador of Ireland to Indonesia, Patrick Francis.
Selamat siang semuanya. Hello everyone. This is Patrick Francis, Ambassador of Ireland to Indonesia. I very much hope that you will learn a lot from this webinar and learn a lot about the wonderful opportunities that face all visitors to Ireland. We have rugged and majestic coastlines, mountains, lakes, an ancient culture, beautiful castles, lively cities, music and dance, and of course, hospitality, which Ireland is very famous for. I'd like to put in a bid for County Donegal, where I hail from myself, where we have truly amazing beaches and cliffs, well worth seeing for anybody. And I hope that people from Indonesia will have opportunities to come to Ireland and will be inspired to do this by yourselves and by what you learn in this webinar. Irish people and Indonesian people always get on very well. There are many Indonesians living in Ireland and they're all assuring me they have a great time. So I hope that more Indonesians will be able to go and join them and make wonderful memories in Ireland. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So next up, we have the Ambassador of Ireland to Vietnam, so that is Deirdre Nialun, and I apologise if I've said that wrong, so I'll let you introduce yourself properly.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Xin chào from Hanoi. Great to see you all, and thanks for the introduction, Emily. I'm Deirdre Ní Alún, and the Ambassador of Ireland here in Vietnam. This year we had an exciting year as the General Secretary and then President of Vietnam, His Excellency Tho Lam, visited Ireland just in October on his first visit to Europe. And that visit got a lot of coverage here in Vietnam in TV and newspapers. And so we think it's really raised the visibility and knowledge and awareness of Ireland here. Obviously, the General Secretary's visit was for official purposes, but he did have an opportunity during his time here to visit Trinity College in the centre of Dublin, which is one of our most popular tourism destinations, where he visited the famous Book of Kells and the Long Room. So based on my engagement with Vietnamese people over the years, there are three things that they tell me that they love about visiting Ireland. Firstly, as my colleagues have said, our beautiful landscapes and natural wonders like the cliffs of Mulhern and the Giant's Causeway. Visiting these sites give a real opportunity to enjoy the clean, fresh air and environment that we have in the Irish countryside. Secondly, I know that tours, museums and castles that celebrate our proud history, including our independence struggle, are very popular with Vietnamese visitors. And thirdly, the cosy, welcoming pubs where they can enjoy Irish hospitality and traditional Irish culture, especially our music and dancing, are also very popular. So we're delighted as the embassy here in Hanoi to play our part in promoting tourism, people-to-people links and great connections between Ireland and Vietnam. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Deirdre. And then last but not least, we have the Ambassador of Ireland to Thailand, Pat Bourne.
Buddy Crab, and greetings from the great city of Bangkok, of Grung Thep. My name is Pat Bourne, and I've been the Ambassador of Ireland here in Thailand for the last 2.5 years. I hope I'm not being too repetitive if I echo some of what my colleagues have already said. Ireland's a great country, and I hope more and more Thais will go and visit there, and really want to encourage the Thai agents on the line to look seriously at Irish itineraries, or including Ireland in composite itineraries in Europe. Like Deirdre, I've also been talking to Thai friends over the last 2.5 years and trying to gauge the things that we have in common and the things that Thais would like about visiting Ireland. And there's some interesting ones that have been thrown up in the conversations. One of them is coolness. Often Ireland has a reputation for being cold, but I know that Thai visitors love that. It's often very hot and sweaty here, and it's lovely to go to a place where you can walk or run or climb a mountain or walk along the cliffs or the beach without feeling that you're going to melt all the time. So certainly there's plenty of that waiting for you in Ireland, bracing good weather and good opportunities to get in the great outdoors without dying of the heat. The green landscapes I've already mentioned, and there are many beautiful places all over the country which are reminiscent of a combination of the north of Ireland and the south of Ireland, of beaches with mountains, with lakes, with forests, and places like the Cliffs of Mulhern, which you'll hear a lot more about later. I know the Thais love castles, and some of the wealthy Thais build their own castles here. And Ireland has no shortage of them, many great heritage buildings, and a lot of them, of course, have been turned into great hotels where people can stay. And even if you're not rich, even if you have a modest disposable income, you can experience castle living on a holiday in Ireland. Thai people love movies, they love cinema, they love watching great films and programs on the screen. So it'd be great, I think, for Thais to enjoy visiting the place where the Titanic story really started, and also, of course, the location for the filming of Game of Thrones, and also other series like Vikings and other great series like that. Thais love sports, and Ireland is hugely popular and important in terms of sport. So if you want to play golf, there's a golf course in Ireland for every day of the year, at least 365 and more. I know also the Thais love ghosts and spooky stories. And Ireland, of course, is the home of Halloween. That's where it all started, and also the home of Bram Stoker, who created Dracula. So a wonderful place to satisfy those interests. And of course, the most important thing for Thais is great food and great drink. And Ireland, wonderful producer of fresh quality ingredients because of that great environment that we have. Great meat, great vegetables, great fruits, and of course, great whiskey and great Guinness. So take my advice, my recommendation, and make sure you include Ireland. Next year is the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Ireland and Ireland, so it's going to be a particularly good year to visit. Cap con crap, body crap.
Thanks very much, Pat. So now that comes back to me. So I'm going to be giving you a short presentation in just a few moments. But before that, Bella, if we could please play my video. I've got just one more video for you. I don't think you can ever have enough. So yeah, please, Bella.
What fills your heart about Ireland? The coast? The people?
If you find any pearls, give them to me, okay?
That's good.
The crack?
Ta-da! 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go!
Fill your heart with Ireland. Discover more at ireland.com.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I'm now just going to quickly share my screen for you, and then we will begin the presentation. Okay, so hopefully you can all see my presentation. So first off, welcome. So as Tim said, my name's Emily and I'm based over in London, and I work with Tourism Ireland. So, sorry, I'm just gonna skip to the next page. Here we are. So Tourism Ireland is responsible for marketing the island of Ireland overseas as a leading holiday destination. We also have our Meet an Island brand. So this is business tourism, and we help meeting planners to organise successful international MICE events whilst over in Ireland. When visiting and staying in Ireland, you can always expect a warm welcome, and I think everybody's sort of already implied that, but it is true for sure. So it's the wit, warmth and wisdom of the people that make our island so very special. So the Isle of Ireland is broken up into a number of experience brands. So this map sort of really clearly indicates where they are located and sort of what's where. So we have on the west coast, running all the way from the north down to the south, we have the Wide Atlantic Way. We've got Ireland's ancient east over in this bottom corner. We then have Dublin over on the east coast. Ireland's hidden heartlands sits sort of firmly in the middle. And then here we are up in the north, we have Northern Ireland and of course Belfast. So the Wide Atlantic Way is the longest defined coastal driving route in the world. This route stretches 2,500 kilometres, and as I said, so that is from Malin Head in County Donegal in the northwest, right the way down to Kinsale Town in County Cork in the southwest. You can expect to see soaring cliffs, there's beautiful beaches, buzzing little towns along the way, and it's also on the Wild Atlantic Way that you will find the spectacular cliffs of Mulhern, which you're going to hear more from later with Melanie. So next we have Ireland's ancient east. So this is a land of rolling green hills. You can expect again some more charming towns, quiet waters, and these are framed by the River Shannon and the Irish Sea. This region is known for its prehistoric passage tombs. You've got ancient monastic sites and some really beautiful ancient castles to be found here as well. So Ireland's ancient east is the birthplace of Irish culture. So that brings around 5,000 years of history to life. And it can be enjoyed in the company of some of the greatest storytellers in the world. So next up, we reach beautiful Dublin. So the beautiful city of Dublin is framed by mountains. It's centered on a river, as you can see here in this photo, and it's edged by a beautiful bay. So you can walk the streets and discover 1,000 years of history. It has a rich literary heritage. So Dublin is actually a UNESCO City of Literature. And of course, a famously friendly welcome that reverberates through the pubs, the cafes, the restaurants, just echoing what the ambassadors were saying earlier. Head out beyond the city and the UNESCO biosphere of Dublin Bay will open up, and you've got some stunning coastal walks. You've got little villages, wild sea views, and some rugged mountain backdrops as well. There is plenty of adventures and activities to be experienced here. So you could take to the Dublin Mountains for a hike. You could go rock climbing in Dalkey Quarry, sorry, or you could walk the cliff path at Hove. So the last region in the Republic of Ireland is Ireland's hidden heartlands. So it's a beautifully unspoilt part of Ireland, and life very much moves at sort of a slow pace in this part. So you can expect to find beautiful waterways, much like this photo here, and you can go kayaking. Or for those that prefer to be on the ground, you can explore the forests across one of the many treks and trails. Here you can also discover thousands of years of history. You can climb incredible mountains and, as I said, hiking through beautiful valleys. You'll also find some, again, charming riverside towns and villages. It's definitely worth spending some time here. And some really sort of amazing slow travel experiences and off the beaten track experiences here as well. So lastly, we have beautiful Northern Ireland and the buzzing capital city, Belfast. So Belfast is a city that can trace its history back to the Bronze Age. It's a city that built the Titanic, as well as having a really wonderful and unique food scene. It is also the gateway to the spectacular Causeway coastal route, which I'm sure you've all heard of. Northern Ireland itself is a land of story-filled cities and steep cliffs. It's also home to the incredible Game of Thrones tours filming studios, which you'll be hearing about more from David later on. Sustainable travel. So travellers are increasingly, as we know, becoming sort of conscious and seeking out eco-accommodation options, environmentally conscious escapes and holidays that allow them to enjoy the great outdoors in a low-impact way. So sustainable travel is all about protecting and respecting the places that we visit, but it's also about sort of appreciating the Irish traditions, the culture and the customs of this place. So shopping locally and supporting independent businesses. So across this slide, I'm just going to sort of talk you through a few examples. So here are some examples of some unique and sustainable stays, and they range from sort of farm stays, eco hotels, tree houses, eco-friendly self-catering stays. The island of Ireland has an abundance of sustainable stays on offer, right away from luxury, comfort and adventure. So first up, we have Blackstairs Eco Trails. So this is located in County Carlow. So here you can fall asleep in a converted shepherd's hut, looking out to the Blackstairs Mountains. That's incredibly peaceful. Then we have Finlock in County Fermanagh. So this is a luxury hideaway. So forest domes, just like in this photo, and you are literally falling asleep underneath the stars. Then we have Two Green Shoots in County Cork. So this is nestled amid the trees in Glengarriff. And we've got Gregan's Castle Hotel in County Clare. So this is part of the Burren Ecotourism Network. It's also possible to travel sustainably, so you could use public transport, but also just walking and hiking when you're moving around as well. Onto luxury islands. So as previously mentioned, the island of Ireland boasts some of the wildest, most dramatic and inspirational landscapes on the planet. And it's these locations that make the perfect places for a luxury escape where one can kick back and recharge. The island of Ireland has a number of luxurious stays, and these range from large hotels to smaller boutiques. So you've got glamour, which mixed with personal service and supreme luxury. So this can be enjoyed in historic manor houses such as Ballyfin, which is listed down here. While you've got the glam, urban glam sort of hotels, which include the Westbury and the Merrion in Dublin, and then you've got the Merchant in Belfast. So that's sort of just to name a few. We have elegant Georgian manors. We've got stately castles, historic hotels, sort of nice, cozy bed and breakfast accommodations, luxury boutique hotels, and designer lodges. There really is something in Ireland to suit everyone's tastes and requirements. The island of Ireland is also famous for its fantastic food scene. So we have a number of top Michelin-starred restaurants, and just to name a couple, we have the Ox in Belfast and Chapter One in Dublin. In terms of luxury experiences, to name just a few, you can take a helicopter tour around the cliffs of Mulhern. You could sail around Dublin Bay by yacht. You can embark on a private whiskey tasting experience, or you could harvest some of the best oysters in the world. And then, of course, not forgetting golf. So the island of Ireland is home to approximately 400 golf courses, and that is including a selection of exceptional championship courses, which are located in truly stunning locations. So that's sort of it for the key highlights in the regions. So now I'm just going to draw your attention to the visa entry requirements for your visitors when coming to the island of Ireland. So please note the new ETA, which comes into effect from January 2025, and that is for visitation to Northern Ireland. And this is for travellers who do not need a short stay visa. So as you can see here, these are the countries in which it applies to. And then draw your attention to some really useful resources. So we have Ireland's content pool over here on the left. This is great for photos, videos. You can download anything, it's free. You will need to register for an account. It's very quick and easy. But once you're in, you are free to use these for your promotion, your packages, etc. And then over here on the right, we have our trade.ireland.com. So this is our sort of trade portal. So good for news, information, updates. You've got some itinerary ideas, package recommendations. Really useful point of call. So definitely worth noting that one down. And then, of course, we have our social handles. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter or X, and Instagram. And then this is my email address as well. So if you would like to follow up at any point with any questions that you have, please do drop me an email and I'd be delighted to help you. And that's it from me. So thank you very much for listening. And I am now going to pass over to Melanie from the Cliffs of Moher.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. Miki Travel and Tourism Ireland. It is a great privilege to present. Today I'll present the Clissamore experience, and I'm also here today representing two smaller attractions in County Clare, Vandalore Wall Garden and Visitor Centre and Loophead Lighthouse on Loophead Peninsula. If you could be so kind as to play the little short video just to whet your appetite before I start my presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So bear with me while I share my screen. I hope everyone can see this. So as I mentioned, Melanie Lennon is my name. I represent Clissamore Experience in North Clare, Vandalore Wall Garden and Visitor Centre in Kilrush and Loophead Lighthouse in West Clare. So just to give you an idea where the three attractions are on the map of Ireland here, you can see that we are conveniently located Shannon Airport, Shannon International Airport, with many daily flights from the UK and overseas. So we would be 40 miles from Shannon Airport, that is the Clissamore. Vandelore Wall Garden is also 40 miles from the airport, and then Loophead Lighthouse is a further 63 miles. From Dublin Airport, we would be 165 miles, Vandelore Wall Garden would be 186 miles, and Loophead Lighthouse is 203 miles. So why come to the Clissamore experience? Stretching 215 metres out of the Atlantic Ocean, the cliffs are a fabulous signature discovery point on the Wild Atlantic Way. We're part of the Burren and Clissamore UNESCO Global Geopark, and we adhere to a code of practice, which is very important to us in terms of sustainability. We're a special protection area for birds and wildlife. We're a breeding site for over 30,000 seabirds with special conservation interests for over 20 species, including the Fullimer, kittiwake, the guillemouth, the razorbill, the ever popular puffin, and the beautiful chow, all of which are on the vulnerable species list. So this image here will show you why we're the most Instagrammable places on the world. You can walk the safe paved pathways and enjoy magnificent views out over the Atlantic. So the Cliffs of Moher have been welcoming visitors since 1835. We've been used in many films, including Harry Potter, The Princess Bride, where we have the Cliffs of Insanity, The Macintosh Man with Paul Newman, featuring a car chase that goes over the cliff edge. The visitor centre is sculpted from the landscape with a dome cave at the centre of the building. It hosts informative and entertaining permanent exhibits in its extensive gallery and auditorium. We've a new 4D ledge experience that was launched this year, and it is an exhilarating experience. You can fly like a bird over the cliffs and feel the wind in your face, and then you can dive into the Atlantic Ocean and actually feel the sea on your face. So the visitor centre brings to life many different aspects of the cliffs. It's organised into 4 main themes: ocean, rock, nature and man. So you can see from these images here, on the far left is the visitor centre, sculpted or nestled into the landscape. So you can see it doesn't detract from the beauty of the area. On the right side of that is the auditorium, and this is where we host all our exhibits. Downstairs in the visitor centre, we have a fabulous craft and gift store, and the focus is very much on local products, which is very popular with our visitors. 80 of the products, 50 of which are local and are artisan. In fact, it's like a mini gallery. We also have 2 cafes. One is upstairs, and we would source local food from the Burren area. And downstairs, we have the Puffin's Nest, where you can get yourself an ice cream. And the cones are very popular in the summertime. Outside to the left of the visitor centre, we have the Craft Workers Street, which is also a great array of souvenirs and gifts that you can bring home to your loved ones. I'll play this little video. Hopefully you can see it. So you can see here, stretching 250 metres high is O'Brien's Tower, the highest point at the Clissamore. The O'Brien's Tower is celebrating 190 years next year. It was built by Sir Cornelius O'Brien, a local parliamentarian man. He used to bring the lords and the ladies from London to entertain them, and he built this tower specifically to entertain them. Today, we work with a local whisky supplier, JJ Carey, and they house 6 barrels of whisky which matures there. And you're welcome to purchase those whisky bottles online. So now I'm going to talk about the other 2 attractions that I represent, and that will be Loophead Lighthouse and Vandelore Wall Garden and Visitor Centre. Just to give you an idea again of the location, here is a map of Clare, County Clare. So we are all about encouraging slow tourism. So we encourage you to stay in the area, and you can spend a full day just visiting the 3 attractions, but there's many things to see and do in County Clare. So just to give you an idea, Vandelore Wall Garden, Loophead Lighthouse and Clissamore experience, it would take you 3 hours and 7 minutes if you were to drive to each, without stopping off, of course. So why come to Vandelore Wall Garden and Visitor Centre? It provides a serene and peaceful atmosphere. It is steeped in history, dating back to the 19th century when it was created by the Vandelore family. The Visitor Centre provides a unique insight into a turbulent time in Irish history with local stories of harsh famine times and the land wars of the late 1800s. We have a lovely welcoming cafe, and in fact we just opened up a 130-seater cafe just last week, so it's ideal for large groups to stop off and have lunch. And we have a lovely gift store also available. Now I will let our retired ambassador Noel Kilkenny, who's the chairman on the board at Vandelore Wall Garden, explain a little bit more about the Vandelore Wall Garden Visitor Centre. So I'll play this video here.
Welcome to the Vandelore Wall Garden and Visitor Centre in the beautiful town of Kilrush in County Clare. We are at the heart of the Wild Atlantic Way, located just 10 minutes from the Killimer car ferry, and we are the perfect place to stop on your journey to or from County Kerry. While here, you can immerse yourself in a unique piece of Irish history by calling into our Visitor Centre. You can enjoy lunch in our beautiful new cafe in our restored stable block, and you can enjoy the peace and serenity of our wall garden. Or you can take a tour with one of our resident local guides who will regale you with details of the flora of the garden. I look forward to seeing you here. Thank you.
So Vandelore Wall Garden is an ideal stop off, especially if you're coming from Kerry on the ferry. It is only 10 minutes location, so bear with me till I get on to the next slide. So I'll speak now about Loophead Lighthouse, which is on Loophead Peninsula. It is also a signature discovery point on the Wild Atlantic Way. You can take a tour and learn about the incredible history of the lighthouse, from the early stone vaulted cottage type structure to the modern day automated lighthouse. The lighthouse offers 90 metres high views of the Atlantic Ocean down to Kerry Head and Dingle, across the Shannon and up the Clare coast to the Cliffs of Moher. I think this video itself will speak more to the beauty of the area. So Loophead Lighthouse, again on the peninsula with beautiful views out onto the Atlantic Ocean. It is also a special protection area for birds and wildlife. And see, you can see many beautiful wildlife. I saw a lovely seal in the sea myself there recently. It was quite something. I'll also talk today about our newly renovated 3-bedroom cottage that is situated on the grounds of the lighthouse. And it is a beautiful, serene place to just get away from it all. Oops. So our Loophead Lighthouse Attendance Cottage, it exudes charm and peacefulness while offering your guests a unique retreat from their hectic modern life amongst stunning vistas and plenty of sea views. Extensively renovated in 2024, the interior was designed to provide modern comforts whilst preserving the history of the building. It's composed of 3 bedrooms. It can actually sleep 6 people. It's a fully equipped kitchen with 2 bathrooms. A flat screen TV is also available in the cozy sitting room. Highly recommended for somebody who wants just to get away from it all. So we launched our Western Loop ticket this year, which includes our 3 attractions in 1 ticket. So you can purchase this from Loophead Lighthouse, and you are free to use that up to 72 hours from once you purchase it. You can embark on an unforgettable journey through the magical landscapes of West Clare, travel along country roads and through picturesque towns, soaking in the quaint charm and local culture at every turn. It includes a guided tour at Loophead Lighthouse, a visit to Vandelore Wall Garden and Visitor Centre, which also has a complimentary guided tour, and admission to Cliffs of Moher experience. On the Clissamore Experience website, we have plenty of itineraries and suggestions for what you can do in County Clare. Now, a lot of you here today will be very familiar with the Clissamore Experience, and we thank you for bringing your visitors there. And this is just a reminder for any groups or any operators out there. If you would like to book under 10, groups under 10, we offer promo codes. So we offer you a unique identification code and you're free to book directly on our website. Again, we have a booking ID. So every booking that you make at the Clissamore, we offer you a booking ID, and you can quote that once you make your booking. And when you arrive at the Clissamore Experience, it means that it's a very seamless arrival for all involved. We also ask to arrive at your designated book time. There's plenty of things to do if you find you're a little bit earlier. As I mentioned, the other attractions in County Clare that you can stop off at. We have our group rates available for 25 and 26, so please do reach out to me and we will send you those rates. And again, we have guided tours at all 3 sites, so please, if you book them, we would ask that you arrive at the required time. So thank you very much for your time today. It was a great privilege for me to present the 3 fabulous attractions in County Clare. My contact details are on the screen here, and if anyone has any questions, I would be delighted to answer them. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Melanie. That was very interesting. I've not been to the Clissa Moher, but I definitely want to go now. So next, I'm going to hand over to Stephen at Original Irish Hotels.
Many thanks, Emily. Hello, everybody. Delighted to be here. To kick things off, if Bella, we could play our video first. Many thanks. I hope that just gave you a little bit of a taster to some of our hotels. So I'll get the slides up here. Yeah. So just to introduce myself, my name is Stephen Tuite and I'm representing Original Irish Hotels. So as I said, we're delighted to be here to talk through some of our properties around the country. So we are a collection of 51 independently owned hotels. So we operate as a central office in Dublin and we represent over 50 hotels throughout the country. So we have a central reservations team who look after all of your bookings, as well as itinerary planning. So planning your routes around Ireland, as well as our central accounts team who look after the invoicing and obviously the central account or sales and marketing. So we have access to thousands of images which we'd be delighted to share with some of the agents here today. As I said, we are a collection of independently owned hotels. So with that comes a very diverse collection. So no 2 hotels are the same. Many are family-run hotels. So that comes with a very authentic Irish feel and very memorable experiences at our properties around the country. So here you can see the spread of hotels all over the whole island of Ireland. So the collection varies from castle hotels, manor houses, boutique hotels, as well as many town centre and city centre hotels as well. So as I said, they're all independently owned with many family run as well. The smallest is 11 bedrooms and the biggest is 224. So as you can imagine, there's quite a mix of hotels in between that, with no 2 being the same. Just to give you a bit of a feel of some of our hotels and our property types, you can see some of our castle hotels. So there's Cabra Castle in the top left, a fabulous, authentic Irish castle experience in County Cavan. So only an hour from Dublin. So very close to our capital city, but a very authentic Irish castle. Down below, we have Buswell's Hotel in Dublin city centre. So a very traditional hotel located in Dublin city centre, so where the old world meets the new. Next, we have Avalon House Hotel, which is in Kilkenny. So a really nice Georgian boutique hotel, Georgian style hotel. So again, town centre hotel. And on the right, we have the Lodge at Ashford Castle. So a manor house hotel, just to show you the variety of hotel types. Here are some of our estate properties. So at the top left, we have Ballyseedy Castle. So this is the only castle hotel in County Kerry. Fabulous estate property with acres of mature woodland to explore. Down below, we have Brook Lodge Hotel in County Wicklow, so just south of Dublin. Very well known for its organic food practices. It actually had the world's first 0-kilometer menu where all of the food was sourced from within the grounds, which is something they're very proud of and very well known for in Ireland. On the right-hand side, we have Mount Falcon Estate over in County Mayo, so that's in the west of Ireland. Fabulous estate property, has its own driving range, a spa, a leisure centre facilities, and again, acres of woodland to explore as well. So as I said earlier, all of our hotels are independently owned. So they are very passionate owners. Many are family run. So with that comes an authentic Irish experience, and as well as a collaboration of working together. So obviously we work as the central office where we can collaborate between hotels to plan out your group's trips to Ireland. So anyone who's familiar with the group already, we've had 5 new hotels join over the past 2 years. So I'll just fly through these quickly. The first was Cleavey Castle Estate. So that's in Newry in Northern Ireland. So just over an hour from Dublin Airport, and then just over an hour again to Belfast. So halfway between Dublin and Belfast. A fabulous estate property, very well known for its sustainable food practices. You can see the walled garden on the right-hand side in that picture there, where they grow all their own vegetables that they serve in the restaurant. They have their own they have their own herds of cattle and their own farmer on site, butcher, and then obviously chef. So very unusual to have all 3 working so closely together, which has resulted in fantastic food offerings at this property. Next, we had the Victoria in Killarney join. So this is a 33-bedroom hotel in County Kerry. Lovely Victorian style property. You can see from the pictures, it's very well decorated, beautifully styled, and only walking distance from Killarney town centre. We also had Connemara Sands Hotel join out in Galway, so out the west of Ireland, right on the seaside on the Atlantic Ocean. Fabulous clear blue seas. They have a lovely sauna and outdoor jacuzzi facilities. Small hotel, 23 bedrooms, but a beautiful part of the country. We also had Vaughan Lodge in Lahinch join. So as we were just chatting through the Cliffs of Mulhern, very near there. It overlooks the golf course in Lahinch, so one of the most famous links courses in the world, obviously in Ireland as well. So nice access to Lahinch town centre, walking distance down to the town as well. And most recently we had the Ardalon in Galway join. So right in the heart of Galway city, beautiful hotel, leisure centre facilities, and easily accessible for all of Galway has to offer. So I'll just chat through some of our hotels that we have in the collection. So starting with Dublin city centre, so the capital city on the eastern side of the country. So I will begin with Buswell's Hotel. So a very traditional style hotel, right in the heart of the city, as we said, where old world meets the new. So 67-bedroom hotel, so large enough, does cater for groups. You can see from the pictures here, the antique style furnishings throughout, and it's right opposite. It's located right opposite Dáil Éireann, so Leinster House, which is Ireland's House of Parliament. So there's a fantastic atmosphere around this part of the city. You're walking distance from almost all of Dublin's main attractions, rightly located beside Grafton Street, so Dublin shopping district, as well as all the famous pubs, restaurants, and other major attractions. Next, we will move up to the northwest of the country to Donegal. So this is just a location where we have an example of location where we have 2 hotels in the same area. So when you talk to our reservations team, we can chat through what your clients want, and we can pair up a hotel that would suit your client's needs. So first of all, we have the Mill Park Hotel in Donegal town. So again, family run hotel, very large, 110 bedrooms, suits group business, and is located right along the Wild Atlantic Way, that famous coastal route that's celebrating 10 years this year. So It is very accessible to go to all of Donegal's major attractions, such as Slieve League Cliffs, which are actually the highest sea cliffs in Europe, and it's just south of the Glenveigh National Park as well. Very nice hotel. It has a leisure centre as well, but the main thing is it's walking distance down to Donegal town. So your clients can, if they have some free time in the evenings, they can walk down and explore some of the pubs and restaurants in Donegal town. Now, just for comparison, we have the Sandhouse Hotel, which is about 9 kilometers south of Donegal town. So this is where we can offer two different style hotels within the same area. So as you can see here, right on the beach along the Wild Atlantic Way as well. So it's located along Rosnowla Beach, which is very well known in Ireland, very popular for surfers, as well as for beginner surfers as well, with the gentle waves that come in on Rosnowla Beach there. So it's a 50-bedroom hotel. What's unique about this hotel is only 6 of the bedrooms face the other way. So the majority of the rooms, so all of your clients will have the same sea view, which is a nice advantage to have. So it's an ideal base for exploring the Northwest. Similar attractions to obviously the Mill Park with the Slieve League Cliffs, which you can actually see on a clear day from the Sandhouse Hotel. And yeah, a very nice destination for exploring this part of the country. Next, we'll look at a castle hotel. So we will take a look at Kilronan Castle, which is located in County Roscommon. So here you can see the fabulous castle, gorgeous estate as well, and lake as well on the grounds, and plenty of walks for your clients to enjoy, but a real authentic Irish castle experience. So it's an 85-bedroom castle hotel. So again, caters for groups, and it has an award-winning spa. So this is a very competitive market in Ireland for hotel spas, and they've done very well in recent awards. It's ideally located for exploring the very famous Shed Distillery in Drumshanbo, where they have their famous gin, as well as their Rigna mining experience, where the tours are actually given by ex-miners who used to work in the facility. This family own 2 hotels. They also own the nearby Lochrin Castle. So big members of the communities around this area, and it's a fabulous castle hotel. Next, we will head to Cork. So again, this is an area where we have multiple hotels, so we can pair different hotels that best suit your client's needs. So first, we'll start with Cork's Vienna Woods, which is just on the outskirts of Cork city centre. So anyone who knows the stout, the Irish beer Beamish, so it's almost the Munster version of Guinness. This was the Beamish family home many years ago. So a very historic building with some fabulous mature woodlands around the grounds. So it's a 70-bedroom hotel. They recently added in some new bedrooms in 2023. So it's a decent enough size hotel that can cater for groups. As you can see from the images, it's a beautifully decorated, has gone under recent refurb. And as I said earlier, it's a very historic building. It's ideally located on the outskirts of the city, so it's very accessible to do all the major attractions within the area. One of the world famous ones is Jameson Distillery, but then it's also nearby to Cork City Airport. It's only 20 minutes from Cork City Airport as well. Here we can see some of the new bedrooms that were added in 2023. So fabulously finished, beautiful styles. So these were only added in last year. Again, just to show you another hotel that we have within the same area, this is the Bayview Hotel in Ballycotton. So this is located in East Cork. You can see it overlooks Ballycotton Harbour, as well as the famous Ballycotton Lighthouse in the background. So this is one of those famous lighthouses that Melanie talked about in County Clare, but one of these other ones located in a different part of the country where they do boat tours out to in the summer, weather dependent. So it's a 35-bedroom hotel, recent refurb on all of the rooms. So they're all the exact, all been recently done. They all face, as you can see from the picture on the right hand side, they all face the sea. So all of your clients will have the same view, which is a nice benefit to have, so no one is left out in terms of not getting a sea view. It's an elegant manor house with, as we said, fabulous views of Ballycotton Harbour. And yeah, really nice base for exploring East Cork. So, you know, you have Photo Island, Jameson Distillery, as well as the Titanic experience, so down in Cove. So again, a good location for exploring all of East Cork has to offer. So just to wrap up, I suppose we, just to remind you on Original Irish Hotels, we are the central office. So we have a central reservations team, central accounts, and central contracting and sales. So we're based in Dublin, but we represent the 50 hotels around the country. Here are just some of our contact details, and we're really delighted to present to you today. Any questions, please just let us know. So many thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Stephen. So now I'm going to be passing over to Jill from Kildare Village.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jill Mulhern and I'm International Markets Manager with Kildare Village, who are part of the Bister Collection. So if I could just ask you, Bella, just to play a short video there before I start.
There's a place where the echoes of history resound and whispers of luxury are carried on the wind. Every corner brings new delight, and each step a fresh surprise, where the pull of the past is woven into every thread by the artisans of tomorrow. And the provenance of each season dances on your tongue in flavours rich and bold. You'll not find a welcome as warm or hearts as kind. In this tapestry of community where bonds are forged in laughter and shared dreams, let us be your dream shapers, rule breakers and memory makers. Lose yourself in the moment and find yourself anew. Let the spirit of Ireland embrace you in this place where you belong.
Thank you, Bella. So I will just share. Okay, so Kildare Village is part of a collection of 12 villages across Europe and internationally as well. So we have 2 villages in China, we have 9 across Europe, and we have one that's opened recently just outside New York in Belmont Park. Kildare Village is really conveniently located. We're 45 minutes by car from Dublin city centre. There's also a local train station that if your guests don't drive, they can jump on a train in Dublin, come to Kildare, and there's a complimentary shuttle bus that runs every 20 minutes from the train station to Kildare Village. We're really well located if you're deciding to drive down west and do the Wild Atlantic Way. We're almost in the centre of the country, so we're just very, very well located. We have over 100 boutiques, including some of these brands. So you have Mulberry, Montclair, Armani. And one thing that I absolutely love about working in Kildare Village is that nothing ever stays the same. There's always new brands coming on board, always something exciting going on. These brands here, we have over 70 standalone boutiques. So for each of these brands, they don't have another store elsewhere on the island. Just to show you some images of some of our lovely boutiques. And then in the last quarter, we've had some new brands come on, including American Tourister, and Self Portrait opened a couple of weeks ago, which has proved really popular with the Asian market, and it's been a big draw actually. So we're very proud of our Irish brands in Kildare Village. They're very high-end brands that we have here. So just to run through some of them. So Avoca is a hand weavers, and they were established in 1793, and they produce these beautifully hand woven woolen blankets, throws, scarves. Then we have Sprout, who are a farm to fork restaurant, and that started off with 2 young guys who started with a juice bar, and they've now gone on to open multiple stores. But they grow all of their produce 15 kilometres from Kildare village itself. So it's all fresh, very colourful, very healthy food. And then we have Pestle and Mortar, which is a skincare brand. And the lady who founded this brand is a Kildare native, but she's of Indian heritage. And that brand is it's going from strength to strength. Just to show you some images there. So in the top left, you'll see Pestle and Mortar, like lovely black and white, clean brands, clean packaging. It's just very luxurious, but at a really good price point. And just some images to give you kind of a sense of place. So unfortunately, we don't get the sun very often in the summertime in Ireland, but when it does shine, it's the best place to be. And just to talk through some of our 5-star guest services. So we work in conjunction with many partners, and you can earn air miles. So for example, at the moment, we're running a promotion that you earn double air miles with Aer Lingus for purchases made in the village. We also work in conjunction with Qatar Airways and Emirates, amongst many others. We've complimentary coach and car parking. We have electric car charging points. We have personal shopping and styling. And then you could do hands-free shopping, which means any shop that you go into, you purchase your product, they seal it in a bag, they mark it with your unique code or identity code, and then you can either pick up your items at the pickup point, it can be brought to your car, or it can be brought to the apartment, which I will talk to you about in a few minutes. We have dog kennels, so if somebody's coming with their dog, the dog can relax in luxury for the afternoon as well. And then the biggest USP for Asian guests and international guests is tax-free shopping. So this can be, you can do this on site, so you don't need to wait to go to the airport. So it's provided by Planet and Global Blue, and you can claim back anywhere between 13 and 23% on your purchases. So now to move on to the apartment. So at Kildare Village, we have 3 levels of membership. So level 1, 2, and 3. Once you get to level 3, you become part of our Black Book, or you're an esteemed guest. So you can get invited to many events. So just recently we had a couple of collaborations. So the first one was with Carton House, who is a beautiful 5-star resort in County Kildare. And they came and they did afternoon tea for 100 guests over 2 afternoons. And then we also had a collaboration with Chapter 1, who were mentioned earlier on. So they're a Michelin star restaurant, and they came and they did a tasting menu for our guests. So this was a complimentary service that was offered to our level 3 members. This space can also be used by your guests, and I'll just show you some images now. So this image in the top left, that back wall is all hand painted and it's really beautiful. But this space it can be divided into 3 or 4 separate spaces, so we can make it as intimate as you like. The photos are lovely, but it doesn't do it justice. Like once you're there, it's an oasis of calm and peace. So just for example, on Black Friday, a couple of weeks ago, we had over 35,000 guests came through the village in that day. But you walk into the apartment and you forget that the madness and the chaos and all those people are outside. So you can come in, you can have your champagne, tea, coffee. We can organise lunch through one of our eateries there. So we're open to lots of different experiences, and happy to talk about that. So then we move on to the personal shopping suites. Again, this is a complimentary service. So if somebody wants to have a colour consultation, we have 10 personal stylists on site. There will be a brief that will happen before guests arrive. So we'll find out, the brands that you like or you love, brands you don't like. We'll get all those kind of details from you, and the stylist will go off and they'll come back to this apartment and they will bring back an array of products, and there's no obligation to purchase, and it is a complimentary service. So we welcome everybody to come along to that. And that is it from me.
Brilliant, thanks very much, Jill. So I'm now going to be handing over to Fiona from Titanic Belfast.
Afternoon, everyone. Wonderful to have so many of you join the webinar today. It's amazing, and congratulations, Miki and Tourism Ireland. So my name is Fiona Herald, and I'm representing Titanic Belfast. So you may be familiar with Titanic. You may have seen the famous movie. Titanic was an ocean liner. And at the time when it was built in the early 1900s, it was the world's biggest and most luxurious passenger liner. It tragically sank on its maiden voyage after hitting an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean in 1912. And to this day, it remains one of the most well-known maritime disasters in history, and it continues really to capture the public imagination, over 100 years later. So Bella, if you're okay, if you want to just share the video, if that's okay, before I share my screen. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to share my presentation now, if that's okay. So you can all see my screen, yeah? Okay, so Titanic is intrinsically associated with Belfast because it's actually where Titanic was both designed and built, okay? And Titanic Belfast, you can see it here in the image, is a multi-award-winning visitor experience. It's a world-class visitor attraction, and it's situated in the former Harland and Wolff shipyard, where Titanic was designed and built. Okay, so actually you can see here exactly where Titanic would have been positioned in the slipways. Here you will see the where its sister ship, the Olympic, also designed by Harland and Wolff, would have been built. So these are the slipways that are right beside Titanic. So if you go back to the early 1900s, Harland and Wolff were the leaders in shipbuilding design, and also in building ships as well. And they were commissioned by the White Star Line to actually build the most luxurious and biggest ship that the world had ever seen. And it was to service the growing demand of traffic across the Atlantic. In terms of location, you've heard from a lot of the regions this morning. So we're taking you to Northern Ireland now. So Northern Ireland is about 2 hours from, it's located in Belfast, of course, but it's about 2 hours from Dublin, a very well-serviced route. And, you know, if you're clients that are flying into the UK, it's serviced by ferries and flights, huge amount of flights, and obviously Dublin as well. You know, a very busy airport and well connected across. You know, you're talking about there is direct flights from the Middle East, from Qatar, from Emirates, and from Etihad as well. So very well connected, and 2 hours from Dublin. Okay, so here's Titanic Belfast, and it's actually it is right in the center of the Titanic Quarter. And the Titanic Quarter is a large-scale Waterford regeneration project. which is located on the site of the former Harland and Wolff shipyard where Titanic was built. And it's encompassing mix, like it's residential, there's commercial, there's Titanic Belfast. You actually have Titanic Hotel, which is the drawing room where Titanic would have been designed. You've got the slipways, you've got the SSS Nomadic, which was a White Star Line, and it's the last surviving White Star Line. You have Titanic Studios, where part of the Game of Thrones was filmed as well. And you're going to hear more about another studio from David soon. But in terms of walking distance to Belfast city centre, it's very close by. And really, this whole area, it's a mile walking route, and it really celebrates the very rich maritime heritage of Belfast. So it's a wonderful place to visit. So in terms of Titanic Belfast and what it is, like I say, it is award-winning, and it really, through interactive exhibits and galleries, it tells the story of Titanic from the early 1900s through the construction, the launch, the fit out. Gives you a sense of the passengers that were on board, the maiden voyage, and of course its subsequent place in history. I'm going to talk to you about the signature tour, and this is the signature tour that most people will do. It is a self-guided experience. You should allow about 2 hours for your guests really to take it all in. There is audio tours available as well. There is some other experiences for people that maybe are looking for, a little bit more in depth, want to delve deeper into the history of Titanic. That would the Discovery Tour takes in other heritage sites along the Maritime Mile, and also the SSS Nomadic. Like I say, this is a really famous ship because it's the last White Star vessel, and it's permanently docked now just beside Titanic Belfast. And this would have transferred first and second class passengers over to Titanic, and hence it was fitted out to a very luxurious standard. So you're going to get an idea of the opulence and elegance of a Titanic from visiting the ship. So like I say, I'm just going to focus on the signature tour and give you a kind of sense of what the tour, what the self-guided tour involves. So there is 10 galleries, excuse me, and it kind of follows a chronological storytelling of Titanic, first setting it in context in terms of Belfast as, this Victorian industrial hub, and really, like I say, at the forefront of shipbuilding around the world, which was incredible. This is another highlight of the visit. It is a shipyard ride, and through animations and full-scale reconstruction, we create the reality of working on the ship. So it really gives you a sense of what it was like to work in the shipyard and on the ship, and the passenger cars kind of rise and fall as they're flying through the balls of the ship. So it really is something that is very engaging for visitors. The launch, we then talk about the launch, and this was a big deal at the time in Belfast, and they reckon that 1 in every 3 people living in Belfast would have actually attended the launch. So you can imagine the who's who of business, and the celebs at the time would have attended this launch, and it was well covered in media because it was everybody was talking about it. And then the fit out, and I mean, here really it's a really immersive part of the experience. You're actually going to get to see first and second class cabins, and actually get like you get to look at the textiles, and the finest craftsman people would have been used to actually make to fit out the Titanic. So, that this was luxury that was on a different level, and people wouldn't have seen at the time. So, and the image in the above, and again, it doesn't do it justice as a one-dimensional image, but basically this is like a virtual reality experience, and you're actually going to go up through each floor. So it really captivates the visitor, and it takes them up through each floor, starting from the engine room and the dining areas up to the deck promenade. So really going to get a sense of that very luxurious fit out of Titanic. So we move on then, and there has been a very significant investment in Titanic. It's opened over tenure. It opened in 2012 to celebrate the centenary of Titanic. And there's been very significant investment, and about 5 million has been spent, and the last 3 galleries have been reconfigured, and there's now 4 galleries. And it really allows our visitors to have that really deep emotional connection to the story of Titanic. So this is a very poignant display and a very rare item. We have an original life jacket from Titanic, and it's that moment of reflection, and you're going to see a memorial wall, and be able to view a passenger database as well. And the Never Again gallery, it really looks at the chain reaction of events that led to the sinking of the Titanic. And, it was British made, but American owned. And, what are the lessons that, really basically reshaped maritime health and safety all across the world. Another very poignant display here is the binocular box keys, and these belong to the second officer, David Blair. They weren't on the Titanic because he had been transferred to another ship at the time, and this, like I say, that chain reaction of things that led to the disaster, and they weren't on the, they didn't have the keys to the binoculars for the lookout when it hit the iceberg. So perhaps things might have been different had they have had it. So then we move on to Titanic sunk on its maiden voyage in 1912. And Titanic was missing for many years, and it was a little boy's dream, Robert Ballard, to actually find Titanic. And this kind of covers the hopes and dreams in the search to find Titanic, and the new technologies that were developed along the way, and also amazing rare footage on board the ship as they finally discovered Titanic in the mid 80s, 70 years after it had sunk. So I'll move on just to, as the story draws to an end, and we have this amazing gallery which is called the Ship of Dreams. And here guests are going to enter a dreamscape, and through we have state-of-the-art projections, and we have a scale model of a Titanic suspended on the ceiling, and the model illuminates in line with projection scenes, and we have created this beautiful musical piece, and it tells the story of the ship through the hopes and dreams of those that were impacted. So you're actually going to see on the Titanic on the seabed, on the ground level, and also you're going to be able to spend some time and see these really unique and rare pieces of artifacts that are from the Titanic. And it's allowing our guests to like kind of delve deeper into the story, and that very personal story and the very personal tragedy, all these people that had hopes and dreams of finding a new life in America, and those you're going to learn about their fate and their lives. On a nicer note, then, we talk about the lasting legacy of Titanic, which it kind of brings you to modern times. The famous film with Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, and Titanic. It's amazing over 100 years later how the impact that it's had on culture and film and theatre, music, and you even have your Jack moment here reenacted here, so you can recreate your Jack and Rose pose here. Okay, so as I wrap up, just to talk a lot about some of the new artifacts, and there's actually 18 new artifacts. These are extremely rare artifacts, and I've already told you about the Titanic life jacket. There's a deck chair, which was recovered from the water at the time of the sinking. There is the missing binocular box keys, which contributed that chain reaction of events. For me, one of the most poignant pieces is actually the Wallace Hartley violin. You'll all recall the band that played as the ship was sinking, along with some personal letters. This was a gift from his fiancée. Some very rare images. There's a first-class accommodation plan from one of the families that were on board, and there's other personal items that belong to passengers. There's letters, there's a sheepskin coat, there's a pocket watch, a hip flask, and a illuminated cane. They're really rare items. You're not going to see these anywhere else, and they're of extremely historical significance, but really help us tell the story of Titanic. So in terms of the experience, you've got a huge big area in terms of the Maritime Mile, but within the Titanic itself, we do have a range of cafes, and we do have private dining areas as well, and we have a replica staircase in one of the master suites at Titanic. There is a retail store as well, and tax-free shopping is offered. Sorry, tax-free shopping is not offered, excuse me. Yeah, so you can pick up a momentum of your visit. And then finally, so I have to say, Miki is a very big partner of Titanic Belfast, and I would urge, if you do have any bookings, to redirect it back to Miki. But we do offer preferred rates. We do have a dedicated group bookings advisor. We offer fast track entry, and groups are very well looked after. There's a group welcome area. There is adequate coach parking. Your drivers and guides, they love coming to Titanic. They get refreshment vouchers while the groups are on tour, and there is souvenir ticket as well. So thank you so much, everyone. And here's my contact details should you need any more information. And please do feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to take any questions that you might have as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Fiona. Right, so last but not least, so stay with us, guys. We've got David from Game of Thrones Studio Tour.
Thank you very much, Emily. Really appreciate it. First and foremost, welcome, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in Southeast Asia. Before we get started, I'm just going to share a quick video. Bella, if you wouldn't mind sharing the video, please.
First day. I normally get sacked on the first day. Game of Thrones set. It's going to be fun. 7 a.m. in the morning. Woo! Okay. We're in Banbridge. This is the studios for basically all of Winterfell.
How's it going?
3, 2, 1, action.
Thank you very much, Bella. And just give me 2 seconds just while I share my own screen, including the sound. So as you've seen, there was a quick wee behind the scenes look at what now is known as Game of Thrones Studio Tour. We are quite a relatively new visitor attraction here on the island of Ireland. We opened up in 2002 in collaboration with HBO and Warner Brothers. So again, in terms of a visitor attraction, it's on the similar scale of the making of Harry Potter world. In fact, we used the same designers to help create our visitor attraction here. But before we talk about the product, I think it's important just to talk about the actual history of the product. Let me hide this wee floating screen here. And this will give you a drone footage of what the studios were before, which was Lennon Studios, and exactly what it is now, which is a world-class visitor attraction. We are currently located in Banbridge, which, as I've already alluded to, is in the north of Ireland in Northern Ireland. It was originally constructed in the early 1900s as a manufacturer for the globally renowned Irish linen industry. And roughly about 2011, as much of the UK textile industry was offshored, coincidentally, HBO was on the lookout for a studio space to film a new and then relatively unknown TV series, which was called Game of Thrones. And the rest, as they say, is history. Lennon Studios was then born. And over the following years, we started to archive a lot of the sets, props, and costumes in the hope in one day of being able to create a world-class visitor attraction. Even before that was a wrap, which filming stopped finishing in 2018 for season 8, we already had the visitor attraction front of mind, and that was really early in terms of the planning stages. In 2019, Lennon Studios signed a license agreement with HBO to design, develop, and operate a world-class visitor attraction that would highlight the authentic sets, props, and costumes from Game of Thrones, whilst also paying tribute to the hundreds of talented cast and crew members that created the iconic series. And a lot of the cast and crew came from these very shores. Again, as mentioned, we were developed in partnership with Warner Media over the intervening years. Lennon Studios opens its doors on February 4th, 2022. And to this day, we are the world's first and only Game of Thrones studio tour, which gives us a very unique offering here in the island of Ireland and in the north of Ireland. For those of you who may not know, screen tourism is such an important part of the tourism offering here in both Northern Ireland and the island of Ireland as a whole. Pre-COVID, over 350,000 people were coming to Northern Ireland for Game of Thrones. Now, whilst the show has been over for a few years, and with the release of spin-off shows such as House of the Dragon, and this year we've also started production on The Night in the Seven Kingdoms, that's really helped reignite the passion for the franchise for the Game of Thrones. Over 46 million people globally watch the series, making it the most popular TV series ever. So we have a great global fan base. However, the behind-the-scenes nature of the tour is also a very appealing production to a large selection of visitors who want to find out how a show on that scale was brought to life right here in Northern Ireland. I'm just going to share a quick video for you. This is Ian McElhinney, who was one of the actors and is also more recently known for playing his part in Derry Girls as the granddad.
Let me take you on a journey throughout the 7 kingdoms of Westeros. Right here in the land where much of HBO's epic Game of Thrones series was filmed. Game of Thrones not only made Northern Ireland one of the most successful screen tourism destinations, it also boosted creative skills, education, and other career opportunities. And here, this is where the legacy continues. So, here we are, in the north of the wall. But behind me, that is where your story begins. My queen. So here we are in Winterfell, the authentic film set. This is where all the big scenes in the Great Hall were filmed. I thought I'd stop by for something to eat. Well, I have served a kingdom or two, so it's high time they served me some Seven Kingdoms afternoon tea. Wow, they grew big. Huh. They were never that big when I knew them. Wow. Ah, this feels like home. I have a sense of déjà vu. I feel like I've been here before. I couldn't choose between House Stark and House Targaryen, so I bought them both. Oh, looks like my time has finally come. This throne is ready for a new king. Ah, there we go. I promise to be firm but fair. Well, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this brief glimpse into the Game of Thrones studio tour. Nothing beats getting behind the scenes and getting up close and personal with the lavish costumes, props, weapons, and walking through the actual set. Nowhere else takes you into the heart of Westeros, where you and your family can enjoy an epic day to remember. Believe me, it's worth the trip.
So there you go. It hopefully gives you a glimpse, insight into what the product is. So if you aren't familiar with Game of Thrones, as we've already said, it is to this day the world's most successful TV series, but it's also Northern Ireland's biggest screen success. And we were able to give you a behind the scenes look at what we were able to do to be able to bring that to life. So visitors will be able to expect being able to get an insight into production design, costume design, pyrotechnics, special effects, visual effects, all those different crafts that were applied to the world's most successful TV series. But also in terms of our location, we are very conveniently located between the main corridors or gateways into Ireland, which is Dublin, which is 90 minutes south of the studio tour, and Belfast, which is roughly 30 minutes south of the studio tour. So you're driving, 90 minutes north from Dublin and 30 minutes south from Belfast. For those who deal with FIT customers, we also run a bus service from both those cities. And this will allow us to transport your customer or your client from the location to the studio tour and back to that location. There is also another option to be able to offer an onward journey. For example, if you flew into Dublin, you could get on our bus, brings you directly to the studio tour, and we can also take you onward to Belfast. And again, that now runs 7 days a week. So again, very competitively great in comparison to all those other sort of public transport services. And the price will also include your ticket price. For those who are dealing with groups, for coach parking, you just park directly on site. Again, we've got ample amount of coach parking. We have about 12 bays at the front of the studio, which allows you just to drop your client directly off at the entrance. And then we've got a further 120 spaces at the back of the studio. For those who deal with VIP or chauffeur-driven customers, they also have the luxury of being able to park directly on site. For those who are maybe dealing with anyone who deals with self-driven customers, they would have to park at the Boulevard. The Boulevard is a shopping centre which is 5 minutes down the road from the studio. And we also run a complimentary shuttle bus from that location. I will be able to share all that detail with you later, and I'm sure Tim will be able to share that after the presentation. In regards to our audio guides, as we do welcome quite a large volume of international visitors, it's important for us to ensure that we're able to cater for those different nationalities. Our audio guide allows us to just do that. The guide is recorded in 6 different languages: English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, as well as Chinese. And we also have QR codes on the reader panels that you can scan via the app. Other than the handheld audio guide, you can also download our app, which is available on the Apple Store as well as the Android Play Store. And that will allow you to then access some of those location-based tours as well, which are populated around the island of Ireland. What I haven't told you is roughly 80% of Game of Thrones was filmed on the island of Ireland. So it really does make it the home of Westeros. Roughly over a third of all filming, that's across 10 years, across 8 seasons, over 73 episodes. Over a third was filmed at these studios. So you're getting a very authentic experience. But as mentioned, even if you've never watched 1 second of Game of Thrones, you're getting an insight into a production. How were they able to bring the largest TV series to life right here in Banbridge? If you happen to be dealing with groups, we do also have catering on site and even for FIT customers. So on site, we have 2 different dining options: the lobby cafe, where we would serve tea, coffee, soft drinks, pastries. And roughly about a quarter of the way through the tour, you'll find our studio restaurant. Everything's all locally sourced. Fresh ingredients are used by our head chef, Bradley, to create the most amazing dishes. And we're fully licensed, so your visitors can enjoy a themed cocktail or 2 with their lunch. During Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, we tested a themed afternoon tea. Afternoon tea, again, is a very unique offering to the UK and Ireland, but even more unique to Game of Thrones, where we are able to offer you a themed afternoon tea. Due to the success that we had during Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, we now run afternoon teas all year round. So again, if you want to be able to offer a very unique catering experience, feel free to reach out and we can give you a bit more detail on that. Other than that, we do offer discounted rates for groups who are maybe having a 1-course meal to a 3-course meal. And for those who are constrained with time, we also have a working lunch, and that would include the likes of soup, sandwiches, as well as some homemade wheaten bread. We also offer express tours. Because we're conveniently located between Dublin and Belfast, it is a great stopping point for those who are travelling southbound or northbound. So we offer an express tour as well. Although predominantly the tour is self-guided, we do also offer a guided experience. And for those who are dealing predominantly with Chinese customers, we also have a Chinese-speaking guide that we now offer a 45-minute guide, including 15 minutes in our retail. But feel free to ask more about that at a later stage. We're also home to the world's largest Game of Thrones merchandise shop. So visitors are absolutely blown away by the number of products, but also the quality of the products that we offer, and more importantly, the value for money. As I've already alluded to, we are a Warner Brother product. However, we're very competitively priced. So you'll be able to pick up likes of a t-shirt and a hoodie for £21 to £30, which is very competitive whenever we compare against other Warner products. And as of this year, we also launched our first ever e-commerce store. So we have roughly about 400 products in our retail store, and we've roughly got about 170 to 180 of those products now available online for global distribution. And again, I'll be able to share that website with you at a later stage. And finally, we are very extremely proud of our venue being a world-class ultra-low carbon visitor attraction. We are located on a biodiversity 30-acre site with a further 90 acres encompassed by a land management plan. And that site includes everything from wildflower meadows, bird boxes, and recently bat boxes. And we are hoping to maybe potentially have community beehives down the line. And again, when it comes to likes of some of our heating, we use a 0 carbon biomass heating system, and our electricity, if you look at the bottom left-hand side, is procured by an on-site hydro renewable resources, which is using the river band that runs behind us here at the studio. And it's great now we're actually being recognised. Now, as mentioned, our site here at Lennon Mill Studios is over 100 years old. In the early 1900s, as mentioned at the start of the presentation, it was a Lennon Mill. And again, because we are a very new attraction, only opening in 2022, we were able to put sustainability front of mind at the design stages. And again, our work has been recognised as early as 2016 during filming as Sustainable Ireland Sustainable Company of the Year. And more recently, in 2003, we were Sustainable Tourism Provider of the Year at UK Inbound. And this year, we were Irish News Workplace and Employment Awards for Best Sustainable SME. So if you do have visitors who are conscious about their carbon footprint, They can be given peace of mind whilst knowing they're on site. They are working with an ultra low carbon visitor attraction. And again, we've also been rated 5-star on TripAdvisor with value for money and the experience rating very highly. And again, this year we made the decision to review our pricing to make the tour more competitive and bring it more in line with other Irish attractions, benchmarking against the likes of Guinness Storehouse and, of course, Titanic, our friends up the road there. Again, we also included and increased our bus capacities and availability for that bus transfer from both Belfast and Dublin. Our group rates are very competitive, but we also do have quite a competitive commission scheme as well. So again, when you feel free to reach out, we can give you a wee bit more in depth on how our commission scheme works, making us a very, very competitive visitor attraction here on the island of Ireland. And I just want to point out, we do not want rates to be a challenge as to why visitors aren't coming to the attraction. Other than being a visitor attraction, our focus on the latter half of 2023 and more so in this year was being able to offer a MICE offering. So anyone who's dealing with meetings, incentive, conferences or events, we can also host events here at Game of Thrones Studio Tour, making it a very, very unique offering. So I'm just going to share a video with you here quickly, just showcasing some of those spaces that we have on site that can be used for meetings and conferences. My mouth's actually starting to water by seeing some of the food that we offer here. So there are some really unique offerings there, and as you've seen at the tail end of that video, we do have the original sets as mentioned, but you can also have a banquet experience in those sets as well, which is a great offering as mentioned for anyone who is dealing with the MICE sector. Elaine, as you'll be glad to know, there's not much left now. What always goes down well is talent. And again, we've been quite fortunate to date to have loads of local talent and international talent visit the Game of Thrones studio tour. And it's great exposures for ourselves, but also for the screen tourism industry in Northern Ireland, as they all speak very highly of their time here whilst filming in Banbridge and Northern Ireland. Most recently, we had George R.R. Martin, who was the book author. Without him, we would not have the world's most successful TV series. And to his right, you will see D.B. Wise, who was one of the producers, who again brought George R.R. Martin's vision to life through the TV series. Now, your visitors could be fortunate to just be visiting at the time that a talent is visiting, and it is no extra cost. It's just better value for money. You're just getting that added experience for no extra cost. And again, we'll try to keep you up to date with any expected visitors in the future. And as mentioned, in addition to the tour in August of this year, we did launch our MICE meetings, incentives and conference packages, where our venue is hireable for a range of functions from conferences, gala dinners, education workshops, and much more. And again, a big milestone early this year was our 2-year anniversary. Since opening our doors on February 4th, 2022, we have welcomed travellers from across the globe, and we will continue to celebrate, inspire, and educate our visitors. We will continue to work towards being recognised as the world's only official Game of Thrones studio tour, but more importantly, an unmissable visitor experience whilst visiting the island of Ireland. Not only that, we're able to also send across custom itineraries. So this is an example of an itinerary, which is within our local borough here, which is named the Crown, the Throne, and the Orchard, which allows you to depart from both Belfast and Dublin, whilst also visiting 3 world-class attractions, which is Game of Thrones Studio Tour, Longmeadow Cider, which is a local orchard that also allows you to show how they're able to create some of their vinegar as well as their cider. And then, of course, Hillsborough Royal Palaces, which is just up the road as well. But we have numerous different itineraries for different other visitor attractions on the island of Ireland, so feel free to reach out and we can share those with you. And again, just to summarise and just to wrap up, we have on-site parking for coaches, a driver's comfort room, as well as a unique food and beverage offering for groups. We're conveniently located on the main corridor between Belfast and Dublin. And again, in 2024, we launched new pricing. We launched a brand new e-commerce store, as well as our MICE offerings. And again, we have some really exciting stuff coming for 25 and 26, which I will be sure to share with you. And that concludes my part of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. But as Tim has already alluded to, he will share all those details with you after the presentation concluded. That's everything. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks very much, and a massive thank you to all our presenters. I hope you've all been inspired by what you've heard today. I'm now going to pass back to Tim. So thank you very much. Over to you, Tim.
Great stuff. That's very great stuff. I'm really, really happy that you've all had the chance to share all of your stuff with the partners here. Hang on a second. Let me just uncloud my screen.
Screen here.
Okay. Let me just share my screen properly as well. Hang on a minute. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm very quiet for a moment, which is very rare for me because I'm normally very talkative. So I would like to share with you guys some itinerary suggestions so that you can see how we can fit all of this into an itinerary for Ireland. So imagine if you're all traveling to the UK first. Some of you that need a visa for the UK will get the UK visa, and you can go into Scotland there and take the ferry across to Belfast. Now, when you're in Belfast, we can go and see all the fantastic city view points. We can also enter the Titanic Museum, which we saw today. Afternoon, we can take an excursion to either of these attractions. You can either go to the Glenshane Country Farm for the sheepdog experience, or you can go to Giant's Causeway. The following day, we'll drive to Portree from Belfast, and then we can enter the Game of Thrones studio tour. Of course, we see all the most marvelous sites that we've just seen with David there. And then we can have lunch at the Longmeadow Cider Farm. And this one has also got famous apple pie to go with cider and vinegar. Continuing onwards, they can overnight at the Killeavy Castle Estate, which is not far away from here. And this was shared by Stephen earlier. We'll continue on down to Dublin and we'll do sightseeing with all the famous Trinity College, St Patrick's Cathedral. And we can also do shopping, of course, at the Kildare Village. And then for a full day excursion, we can pop out to the cliffs of Mulhern and have lunch in the area in Galway, and of course come back in time for overnight in Dublin. And finally, we can then pop back across, taking a ferry from Dublin to Holyhead, and then the itinerary can then continue off into Great Britain again and back finishing in London. So this is just a small itinerary sample. I'm sure you have many others, but this is something that we would recommend. Let me just check if there are any questions here in the Q&A. Okay, so some of you are asking when is a good time to travel to Ireland. Well, actually, every time is fine to travel to Ireland. Ireland is good all year round. But I would say probably March, April, May is a fantastic time. So for those people who have a high season like Easter, post-Ramadan or Songkran, that's a great time to send some groups over to Ireland, also for the Easter break as well. For those of you who are asking about the visa waiver, if you have a UK visa, then you're entitled to get the Ireland visa waiver. I've checked the screen, and for Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines that need to have the UK visa, you can get the visa waiver at the website online. Secondly, for those people who don't need a visa, as Emily was mentioned before, you need to have the ETA done. So we will definitely share more about that to everybody afterwards. So I'd also now like to say thank you very much to all the participants that came here today to present. I'm really happy to share all the materials to the whole audience afterwards. And I just want to say thank you very much as well to all the audience for coming today. We really appreciated it. I'm going to keep this recording and give to Tourism Ireland. So if they want to also share that with anyone, they can also do so. So thanks, David. Thanks, Fiona. Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Stephen. And hope I haven't forgotten anybody. Thanks, Melanie.
Melanie.
There you go. And wish you all a happy and great day.
Hear my cry and my hunger in search for you. Taste my breath on the wind.
eyes on the journey, stepping into the unknown, waving goodbye to our worries. So we run wild.